I'm a player, 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 I'm a player. Oh, I'm a player. If you see me looking clean cut, matching from head to toe, dipping with a mean strut.
Come on, let's give it up for Tech 9, everyone's favorite. Hello and welcome once again to another episode of Ghettofabulous Kings of War. This is, what now, episode 3? Another 2,000 point battle. Again, pillage. It's kind of weird. I like to roll it up and be random, and I just seem to hit pillage quite a bit. But whatever, it's a good scenario. Makes you think of objectives and move around. This is against my Kingdoms of Men opponent, so his army will look familiar to my first battle report. Here is the 2,000 point human army. Slight difference. I think before he had a regiment of berserkers and a couple troops of the shield men. This time he's got a couple troops of riflemen and a regiment of shield wall troops, but other than that it's pretty much the same. A couple melee oriented hordes, a bunch of siege artillery, some supporting characters, and the two war beasts. And my army, no different from the first battle report I did. Again, mostly because I just don't have a lot of other models at this point, so once I start getting stuff painted up, I'll start playing around with it a little bit, but yeah, I'm still trying to get used to the Kings of War game set, mentality, so this is working for now, and we'll start experimenting in the future once I'm a little more solid. Here is the terrain. This is kind of a hybrid. This is from Battle Chronicler, but just it takes so long sometimes, so I still use PowerPoint to move things around, so you'll see it's a hybrid scenario. It works out pretty well. I don't know if I'll do it in the future for every battle report, but some of these larger point ones, it's so complicated, so much stuff moving around, it's a little easier to see what's going on with the diagram. This is the actual table with the terrain on it, and you can see the 6, again, objectives. Just like I seem to roll up pillage a lot, I seem to roll up a lot of objectives. And here's the diagram with the objectives indicated. Alright, so deployment. Conveniently, you can see the left side of the table there is pretty much empty, so a great place to put dice and counters and everything else. I try to do a refuse flank most of the time, and whether it's because I've done it in the past or just how deployment worked out, I refused to flank instead of my opponent, so he just kind of gave up a third of the board. On my left, my opponent's right, which again is almost the center of the table, you can see the Beast of War there, Standard Bearer on horse, Regiment of Knights, the Shield Wall Regiment in the back, the 2 troops of riflemen, and then it's the wizard on the horse. I believe the wizard is inspiring. That group in the middle there, that's the horde of foot guard. They actually, I believe, have the potion of strength, so they're considered shield and weapons, so defense 5 and crushing strength 1, which actually he models fairly well. They're just the Perry miniatures infantry, like in full plate, which I guess would be heavier armor with 2-handed weapons, and then the heavy pikemen, and then the other Beast of War, and the siege artillery in the back there. This is my left flank, again kind of the center, that the 2 hordes of fiends with the regiment in the middle and the horror. The middle of my lines, the 2 shadow hulks, the 2 planar apparitions, a horror, and the legion of bloodworms with +1 strength. And on my far right, the horde of fiends that have the Pathfinder potion. So this is what it looks like. I didn't get good pictures to crop, so I put just boxes with text for his, and of course I used one program and converted it to PowerPoint, and it messed all my formatting up, and I gave up. So you get the point. You can see where stuff is, damn it. And you can see on my army too with the little pictures. I kind of like that actually, how it works out. We'll see if I continue to do it in the future, but it's kind of clear and it makes it kind of almost look like the board. I don't know. So the game plan, you know, normally the Legion of Bloodworms and stuff kind of moves up and tries to hold the center while the fiends on the flank overwhelm a flank and then roll up. Kind of the same concept in a way. My biggest concern is taking the Knight Regiment out. They're not, they're dangerous in the charge. I can grind them out afterwards. So I'm going to advance. I want to take them out first. Nothing else in this flank is really that dangerous. Even the War Beast, when you think about it, he's only doing 5 or 6 wounds on the charge. Unless I give him a flank or something. So it's not that big a deal. But the Knights can take something out instantly with a good roll. So they have to go, and then I can pick things apart from there. On the right flank, normally, conceptually, I think of 2 hordes of fiends double charging, and then both getting Bane chanted, and that's kind of the nuke a tough enemy unit right away, and then break the enemy lines. I'm going to try to do the same thing, but now with the Bloodworms and a horde of fiends. So it's a little harder to set up because the Bloodworms aren't as fast, but the 2 together should be able to take out either of those units, the Foot Guard, Horde, or the Heavy Pikes. It'll be tough, but if they get Bane chanted and work together, if I can set it up right, it could be good. The tougher part will be the 2 Shadow Hulks in the middle. They're going to advance up the middle and just kind of play it by ear, support whichever side needs the support, and then the Planar Apparitions with movement 7 and then heal with a range of 12. If they stay in the middle, they'll heal the Shadow Hulks a turn or 2 because they're going to get shot, and then they can float to whatever flank needs support. Either I got first turn and gave it to him, or he got first turn. Either way, he went first. You can see he advanced pretty hard on the right flank there. The Heavy Pikemen had the Caterpillar Potion, so they could march through the terrain without any problem. The Foot Guard moved up a little bit. His Rifleman moved out of the woods, and he's kind of shifted around a bit on the left. Artillery, that's actually on the Shadow Hulk in the front there, 9. So 2 hits, I believe, which is one of the problems with the Shadow Hulks. If there's artillery on, they can ignore cover. They're going to get hit quite a bit. And here's the overview. You can see just the advance on the right, and 9 wounds on the Shadow Hulk, which didn't break him. I mean, he's still got dash 20 nerves, so it's not terrible, but that'll give the Planar Apparitions something to heal next turn. My turn, I advance pretty aggressively for me. I'm usually a little more hesitant and tentative, but with these Night-Stalkers I have to get in close. So I push up quite a bit on the left, you can see, and the right I'm a little more cautious. That horde of fiends on the far right there, since they have such movement 8, they don't have to advance quite as quickly. Out of 2 heal 7s, I managed to heal 4 wounds, it looks like, so down to 5. Not a great round of healing. But a quick round, since I don't have anything else to do, so move up, cast a couple heals, and I'm done. And we're set up to see what happens. I'm assuming those knights will charge my horde of fiends. Yeah, they're pretty tough. They may be able to survive it, or if not, with the Shadow Hulks and the Regiment of Fiends, we can charge back, so we'll see. A little blurry, but you can see, yes indeed, the Regiment of Knights charges in, and a bit of advancing on the right. You can see the Beast of War on the far right too. He kind of camouflages in with the tree, but he's tagging along with the pikemen. The other Beast of War is hanging out on the left, and he's just shooting his light ballista and just kind of guarding the flank. There they are coming up. And a couple, 1 or 2 more hits and a good roll, and he kills the 1 Shadow Hulk. So there's 170 points gone. Not a huge deal, but it's just always irritating. And his charge does 9 wounds to the horde of fiends, and of course it wavers them. So that kind of causes some problems for me. So overall, pretty good round for him. I didn't kill the horde of fiends, which would have been kind of a well, it would have been a huge benefit for him, but kind of a tough lift for 1 charge in the Regiment of Knights. But wavering is not bad. On my turn, and we'll look in a little closer, but you can see the horde of fiends back up, and with movement 8 they can back up enough that the Shadow Hulk could actually charge in to the Regiment of Knights. with Crushing Strength 3, that'll be a good matchup for him, especially getting to go first. He should win that fight. You get a little better view there. And you also see the double charge I got off on the foot guard. And with speed 7, the horrors were able to both get over. So this is the ideal scenario. Everything's lined up as I hope. Double charge on a tough unit. Double Bane Chant support. If it goes off right, I'll take out that unit and then I'll break his line and be great. If not, if I roll double 1 for his break check or whatever, that horde of pikemen is going to roll up my flank and I'm going to be screwed. So it's a bit of a gamble. I guess you have to do that, but I think the odds are in my favor. The blue tokens there are for, yes, indeed, I got both Bane Chants off, so everything's in good shape there. And you can see I've healed the Horde of Fiends quite a bit. They're down to 3 wounds. And boom, the foot guard are gone. The Horde of Fiends turn around to face the pikemen, and then the bloodworms turn the other direction. I don't think, the Fiends are going to get charged. They'll probably survive 1 round. They probably won't survive 2. But that's fine. The bloodworms will help kill something on the left and then turn around and reform, and then they should be able to take out the pikemen at that point. So, turning around, I couldn't get a double charge anyway if they both turn out to face the pikemen, so give the bloodworms something to kill 1 turn. And here's what it looks like. Put 6 wounds on the Knight Regiment, as you can see, with my Shadow Hulk, which, it's a pretty good little pop to them. 1 or 2 more of those and they should be done. Alright, humans, turn 3. You can see, yes, on the right flank the pikemen do charge in. He charges one of his rifle troops into the bloodworms just to slow them down so they can't flank charge the knights right away. He's just, I'm assuming, hoping he can maybe get lucky and kill the Shadow Hulk. And again, a little bit of movement on the left. The Shield Wall Regiment starting to roll around. Gets lucky and gets a hit in on my Horde of Fiends again, so they're back up to 7 wounds. And he does have Bane Chant on that wizard over there, and so that's going to help him quite a bit against the Fiends. 15 wounds, a little more than I was expecting, but he does roll Snake Eyes to break them. So in the end, what I had expected, I figured they'd get hit, maybe wavered, and then crushed the second round of combat. Goes horribly for him in a way, because now I get to charge back. I'll do a few wounds probably, and then my bloodworms will be set up to finish him off. So here you can see the results. He put 7 wounds on my Shadow Hulk in the middle there with his Knight Regiment. Which again isn't terrible, isn't bad, but with dash 20 he's fine. If he punches him back into 6 wounds again next turn, that regiment will be in some trouble. 15 wounds on the Fiends on the right, and 1 on the bloodworms, which is great to just life leech set back next turn, so not too bad. I'm assuming the Shadow Hulk will crush the knights, and he's going to start moving forward again and putting pressure on the center of my opponent's lines. The Fiends on the left are kind of the question. I've been hesitant. I don't want to move them up and get them charged first. I've got objectives right now, so if I just hold everything in place, I'm in good shape. My biggest concern is on the right flank, as you can see there. The heavy pike horde, my Fiends aren't going to break them this turn. So how am I going to deal with them and that Beast of War, which, on the flank now, when it starts charging, it can do some serious damage. I think, originally I thought the Fiends in the center there, the horde, would advance up the middle with the Shadow Hulk. But really, if I'm advancing on the left, and my Bloodworm Legion is starting to head to the right, there's not much in the center to worry about. So I think the horde of Fiends in the center will turn right as well. How about the Bloodworm Legion? Together they'll take out the pikes and the War Beast. And again, there's objectives right along the middle line there, so there's no reason to penetrate deep into the enemy lines. The regiment of Fiends on the left will advance and capture that far objective, and the horde of Fiends on the left will advance, just kind of hold position, just fix the enemy, and we'll just react. Whatever the Beast of War and the Shield Wall Regiment does, between the Horde of Fiends and that Shadow Hulk coming up through the Regiment of Knights, they'll be able to take it out. That's the plan, at least. We'll see what happens. So we start putting it into action. You can see the Regiment of Fiends on the left moving to the far objective. The Shadow Hulk countercharging the Knights. Bloodworm Legion charging the Riflemen in his front. Which, that'd be an inconvenient place if I rolled Snake Eyes to break them, then exposing my rear to the Pike Horde. There you go. Heal the Shadow Hulk and the Horde of Fiends. I hadn't really planned on healing the Shadow Hulk too much, but I think I rolled really well in the Fiend Horde with the first planar apparition, and I figured I might as well just throw the second one at the Shadow Hulk. And no surprise, the Bloodworm Legion takes out the troop of Riflemen, and I decided to reform to give them the side charge to the rear. Not that either one's going to be a major problem, but there's no reason to give them a rear charge. And the Shadow Hulk actually takes out the Regiment of Knights and advances a little bit. And I think I actually Bane chanted that Horde of Fiends. And they put 11 wounds on that Pike unit, which was more than I was expecting. But I'll take it. That's great. That's just going to make the Bloodworms work that much easier when it's their turn. So there you go. Crushed the Knight Regiment, crushed the troop of Riflemen, and just kind of start rolling things up. On the human turn, he decides to commit. He charges that War Beast into the Horde of Fiends there on the left, and the Shield Wall Regiment marches. I think they might actually be out of the charge arc of the Shadow Hulk, so I can't flank charge him, so he's going to be out of position for a turn, potentially. On my right, the Riflemen charge the flank of the Bloodworm Legion. You can see he blocks the Bloodworms, so they can't, he's hoping they won't be able to charge the Pikemen next turn. And then the Pikes charge into the Fiend Horde. They should destroy that pretty handily. Artillery again pounds away at the Shadow Hulk, back up to 10 wounds. He has some characters too, so he might have shot like the boomstick with his standard bearer or whatever, some lightning, which is another bane of my army. No surprise, kills the Horde of Fiends on the right, puts a couple wounds on the Bloodworm Legion. So there you go. The Legion is going to have some issues now, because unless I'm very lucky, kill the Mounted Wizard and overrun, a long overrun into the Pike Horde, they're going to get charged first, which isn't terrible. They get 23, 26 nerve, I think, but it's just, I don't want that. Actually, let me go back here for a second. You can also see on the top the Shadow Hulk, as he couldn't charge the regiment, and I kind of thought I had the left flank in decent shape here. You can see two planar apparitions down there too supporting. I had the Shadow Hulk flank charge that troop of Riflemen, and then the Bloodworm Legion charge the character. Healing, the two planar apparitions bring the Horde of Fiends back to 1 wound, which is great, because they're going to get charged by that War Beast again. I think the Shield Regiment might still be in range. It's just will be in the front arc now. On the right flank, I had the Horde of Fiends charge into the Pikemen. Since they were already hurt, I thought maybe if they get lucky, they can kill them. And if they get really lucky and the Bloodworm Legion overruns, the two together will definitely kill them. And you can see with the blue coins there, they've both been Bane chanted again, so that should help. And on the overview, yes, you can see we crushed quite a bit on the right flank. The Shadow Hulk kills the troop of Riflemen. The Bloodworm Legion did overrun far enough to hit the Pikemen, and they crushed it, and then they reformed to face the artillery, start moving that way. The Horde of Fiends, it looks like they're facing the top of the screen, but if you look at the shape of the rectangle, they get kind of distorted. They're actually facing to the right. They're going to take out the War Beast, hopefully. On his turn 5, the Shield Regiment and the War Beast do double charge the Horde of Fiends, and he sacrifices his Standard Bearer to block the flank, or actually at that point it might have even been a rear charge from my Fiend Regiment. I put 12 wounds, which is rolling pretty well, 12 wounds on the Fiend Horde, and waver them. War Beast charges in. Artillery doesn't have much to shoot at, so he shoots at my planar apparition and does put 4 wounds on one of them. Doesn't waver it though, so thankfully I'll get to heal next turn. So there you go. 8 wounds from the War Beast on the right flank into my Horde of Fiends. I think he might have wavered them, so they're going to be stuck. I keep backing up the Horde of Fiends on the left. I think the thought was, if my regiment of Fiends up there can kill the Standard Bearer, I'll have flank charges or rear charges just to make them that much more effective. So that's the hope. And you can see the 2 planar apparitions set up to heal them. Not only that, they're both monsters, so they can capture the objective. So as the game gets close to the end, the one can back up and grab the one. The one at the bottom of the screen is already close enough to capture the other one. They heal him back up to 6. We only put 3 wounds with the regiment on the Standard Bearer, so he's sticking around. They must not have been wavered, so that's good. They put 9 wounds on the Beast of War on the far right. You can see the Standard Bearer with the boomstick there on the right side. And the Bloodworms, actually I ended up turning them back around. It was going to be a long time to get over to the objective. With 3 artillery pieces, I wouldn't kill them all, even if I got there in time. So I was like, I'm going to make sure I kill the War Beast. They reformed that. And there you go. I didn't take pictures. This is top of 6. No huge surprise. On the left, he charges my Horde of Fiends again and bumps him back up to 13 wounds. But the Standard Bearer is still close enough, and we keep we stay in the battle with the reroll, so that's great. They stick around to keep them off the objective. On the right, he charges and hits the Fiends, brings up to 12 wounds, but they're still alive. And on my turn, it's bottom of 6. I'm thinking objective just in case the game ends, so instead of charging the Standard Bearer again, I back up the regiment of Fiends on the left. Now they're close enough to grab that objective. The 2 planar apparitions move to their objectives as well. And the Horde of Fiends on the right just back up so they're close enough to the objective as well. And in fact, the game does end at the bottom of 6. So it's a victory for me. The diagram there, and I didn't keep super close notes. I won either with 3-1 or 4-1 objectives. Not a huge, it doesn't make a big difference either way. Ultimately, victory for Night-Stalkers. So, good job there. Let's take a look. Overall, the army's plan and my game plan from the beginning, for the most part, worked out pretty well. I got the combo charge with Bane-chanted units to wipe out a core enemy battle unit. Conceptually, I had figured that would mostly be Fiends, just because they're fast enough that they can dual charge more easily. But in this case, the Bloodworm Legion happened to be one of them, so that's fine. I'll take what I can get. Again, the planar apparitions, they did what they had to the whole game, keeping things alive, keeping them fighting, securing objectives either by grabbing themselves at the end of the game, or when they kept hitting that one Horde of Fiends on the left flank, if they keep healing it, they tied up 2 units for several turns and prevented them from grabbing objectives. That was great. The Shadow Hulks, as I complain every freaking battle report, I gotta say the same thing. They don't fit well, but again, there's nothing to replace them with. I'm building some scarecrows. I've got some parts to make some butchers, so you may see those in the future as I get them constructed, at least trying them out. But for the cost, you're not going to get something with that much punch and that small a frontage, which I found is an issue with this army. It's just, there's so much frontage. It's so huge. if you have Night-Stalkers and you don't use planar apparitions, I strongly suggest you give them a try. The horrors, people look at them, even I look at them and build the army. They're so pricey for just Banechant 2 and just wasting the surge, really. But again, I don't know what I'd replace them with. And as in this battle report, you might have seen a couple of times, that dual charge probably wouldn't have wiped that unit out if they both hadn't been Banechanted. When that horde of fiends on the right flank, he rolled Snake Eyes to break them, and I got one shot at the pikemen. Normally I'm wounding the pikemen on a 3 with a vicious reroll, but when you put them to Banechant, and now they're wounding on 2 with a vicious reroll, they're just that much more effective, and that's how you end up doing 11 wounds. You're just trying to stack the odds in your favor, and if every turn you're casting Banechant out, that's a significant force multiplier. This game, and most of my games, I don't have individuals that are fast and punchy. I can't kill enemy individuals, unless they sacrifice them in front of me, or are incredibly careless. And I can rarely reach the enemy's artillery because it's so far away. I don't have anything to run out there and grab it. Not usually a problem, because most artillery isn't that dangerous to me, although the stuff that ignores cover saves is. And for the most part, I don't want to kill characters that much, even though they're kind of annoying. A lot of the characters are inspiring, and if I kill their inspiring characters, I don't get inspiring either. So I usually want to keep them around. We'll see. Going with 0.5 there, it's not a punchy, killy individual, but I'm liking objective-based stuff more. And the couple armies that I have faced with fast cav, flyers, they can sometimes, the fiends are speed 8, which is great, but they can set up situations where they're setting up a double charge with a speed 9 cav unit and a flyer against my speed 8 fiends. And I don't have a good solution to that. So you have something like a Banshee, now you can push one of those units back. Now it's my 2 units in range, and he's only got 1. How do they react to that? I can push things off objectives. When I first saw Windblast, I thought it was kind of silly, but the more I'm playing, the more I'm seeing the strategy. I can see the strong utility for movement and movement altering shenanigans. The left flank, instead of trying to heal that horde of fiends every turn, if I could have just been pushing back that Beast of War or that Shield Wall Regiment every turn, that would have held them back as well. If you keep pushing a unit into cover so it can't march out and it has to walk out, and you push it back into cover, that would be so hilarious and so annoying. And I look forward to having the opportunity. And just on 1 unit, it should be something I can put together pretty quickly. So you may see that in the future. And finally, the Fiends. I love them. They're just a great all-around unit. Horde of Fiends is 20 points, or 200 points. Speed 8, 1720 nerve, crushing strength 1, vicious, defense 4, melee 4, 24 attacks. It's not great at any one thing, but it fills so many roles. 1720 nerve with defense 4 isn't the strongest, so they do a pretty good job of sticking around, not getting killed, but they get wavered pretty easily. So I got to be a little careful with how I throw them around in the battle. But other than that, I'm very pleased with them. So there you go, another battle report. Let me know what your thoughts are. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good game. Worked out as I planned, and I'm liking the army so far. I hope you are too.